Hey everyone, it's Evan Kirstel. I have another fantastic topic and guest today. I have Guillaume Bourcy, VP of Data and Identity Solutions at Telesign, a company you're going to learn a lot about. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, thanks for being here. Looks like you're in sunny California or the south of France or somewhere nice. But in any case, why don't you introduce yourself and briefly Telesign for folks watching?
So thank you. So my name is Guillaume Bourcy. I'm actually, as you mentioned, VP of Data and Identity Solution at Telesign, where I had a product and data science team as well as strategic partnership and data partnerships. There we are building really the identity product of the futures. And Telesign is doing our mission is really making the online world a safer place. And for that, we are building excellent and cool product around identity and risk management.
Yeah, it's a very exciting product for a tech and telecom mobile geek like myself. But we're going to take a slightly different angle on the marketplace today because I know you're excited about the metaverse, as am I. Intrigued, if maybe is a better word. So why the metaverse? What's exciting now, given it's a number of years away?
Yes, so I think for me, what is exciting about the metaverse is about how we'll ensure right the user identity there in the metaverse and how we will ensure a smooth experience for the users. So I'm all about risk and identity, and so I want to ensure that what we build online on the current internet is going to be applied also on the in the metaverse. But when we're talking about the metaverse, I don't think there is a single one.
Yeah, that's what's interesting to me is, you had the great Facebook announcement of the metaverse, but won't we have metaverses? Is that the right grammar there? And what's the difference between the metaverse and the metaverses?
So I don't have a crystal ball, right? But in my opinion, there will be multiple verses. So a lot of different metaverses there. It's about fragmentation. Think about it. Internet, World Wide Web, originally was about just ease of access. Everybody get there and start to look for what they want, but started to be fragmented right over the years. You have different search engine, not gonna give name, but we have a few of them, not necessarily a monopoly, but you have a few one. Then once you're there, if you want to reach something, you need to create an account. You need to have a name, an account name, a password, and so on. So you fragment the experience in terms of identity and how you reach the internet. It's for me is there is multiple internet as you have experience on how you access some services. The metaverses is kind of the same thing. It's not going to be owned by one company. There will be many different companies having their own version of the metaverse. This is where I think, definitely, in my opinion, we will have a fragmented experience across different metaverses or verses owned by different type of enterprise. It doesn't mean that you're going to have not have the same services across these metaverses, but your experience to access it will be different. And that is something that we want to prevent by actually already foresee what could be the problem there from a customer experience to access these verses.
Yeah, customer experience indeed. So, as a user, what will my user experience be like across multiple metaverses, and how could that be made, streamlined and more, user friendly, I guess, as an end user.
Don't want to be a Debbie Downer, right? But the way I can see it is that it's what the internet has created, right? All these companies with all these different accesses, all your account and different password, not streamlining your user experience. And that's really what's going to happen also on the verses, on the metaverses, right? You can have different ways to access it, and that's going to be really a nightmare from a customer experience. So one of the things what we see also is that how do you ensure that your offline data and your online data are together merge in the same type of account to provide you a safe experience. I can talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, well, that kind of bleeds into the concept of digital twins, which is all the rage in design and manufacturing and all kinds of industries. So, how does that concept of a digital twin work in a metaverse?
So let's imagine that the original terms of digital twins were really, as you mentioned, Riley, in the manufacturing environment with connected devices mostly. That appeared a few years back with the emergence, of connected devices. So this is simply a digital twin going to be a copy of a physical object in real life into the cloud, and for different purposes. Let's take your fridge. I don't know if it's a connected fridge, but I take a connected fridge. They will replicate that fridge so into the cloud to understand how you utilize it, when that fridge might need maintenance, if there is anything that is defective on that fridge. From a warranty perspective, it's pretty interesting to understand if this is the usage or if it was originally coming from the fridge that was defectuous from the factory, right? So all this kind of information, you have a copy of your fridge, which is in real life, you have a copy of your fridge in the cloud, and that is owned by the company that made that fridge. And so it means that physical objects have alive in the cloud. The metaverse for me, and the metaverse again, I'm gonna try to be very brief on how I describe the metaverse. For me, it's going to be the first iteration of the metaverse is going to be a glorified 3D internet for shopping experiences. To very summarize it, right? But it means also you're going to have your own avatar over there. That's one of the principles. You can wander there, have a different type of experience. Either it's shopping, either it's concert, either it's going to be a lot of different things happening there. How do you ensure that your real life you has also a copy in the metaverse? And that's really what's happening with that avatar. And you have two types of data today. You have the data that you get offline in the physical world. These data are typically your name, your address, can be a credit bureau, have a lot of information about what we consume, type of mortgage, and so on and so on. And then you have the online data of today. The online data of today are going to be the email, the IP addresses. You're going to have a lot of different things. And so how do you ensure that you can merge all these data together to have a smooth experience when you are in the metaverse? And
interesting. So you have obviously digital objects recreated in the metaverse as a digital twin, but what additional considerations are necessary when, it's an actual person like myself in the metaverse via my avatar? Like what do I need to be aware of?
Yes. So you want first to be in control of the data you want to share, of course, from the physical life to the digital life. But that to put you in control, what we have seen is that one great asset and that exists between the online world and the offline world, and that is a common denominator, is the phone number. And the phone number is something that can help you to merge some of the data that you have from your offline world and the online world all together to create that 360 view and to improve actually the experience during your shopping tour in the metaverse, during your experience going to a concert in the metaverse, and so on. There is things that you can then separate that you don't want to share versus things that you want to share. But from an access perspective, having a single entry point as a mobile first experience will be critical in the future, especially as I mentioned earlier, you're going to have multiple verses, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's so interesting. That's something so old, like a telephone number. And I'm old, I mean like Alexander Graham Bell old. And
Exactly.
plays such an important role, not just today with our security and identity, but it will continue to play a role in the metaverse. Who would have thought? But let's talk about identity, because Telesign is known as a giant in the identity space. What will identity mean, in the metaverse, and why will it matter so much? And I have a few ideas, but I'd love to hear more.
So it matters a lot because again, it's about creating a user experience that is seamless. That's very important. But keeping the right amount of friction from an identity perspective to ensure also that there is no risk of either scam, account takeover, impersonations, and so on. So that's very important. But the identity in the metaverse is going to be really a reflection of the action we have in the metaverse now has more and more an impact on what happened in the physical world. I have to say that in the past we were wanted to go from the physical world to the cloud, right? And showing, for example, social network were about us showing or the physical world events on social network. Then the metaverse will be actually the cloud having an impact on your day-to-day life and for the best of the worst, right? But this is about really how both become intimate, offline and online. And this is where the identity is so critical and important because this is going to be really merging offline and online data together. And this is where your identity becomes really a central piece of all your activities. Either you are offline, either you are online. And that's really where you want to merge that experience together.
Yeah, identity is becoming fundamental to internet security and kind of all internet services. Just look at Apple's new identity service and Google and everyone creating their own identity services, yet more ways to identify and authenticate. So it kind of is going back to my phone number because that is unique to me. It's sort of trusted. How do I, secure my phone number for current and future services? And for, will it be integral for, connecting to the metaverse, for example?
Yes. So yeah, as you said, the phone numbers is as old as the telephone. So from that perspective, it's still a critical piece, and we see it especially in developed or emerging countries as a critical piece to identify the users, right? And because people stick to their phone numbers, people really have a personal relation to that phone numbers. You engage through the phone numbers, right? Day to day, day after day, on the telephone, you can have voice messages, you can have voice interaction and calls, and you have messaging all across the place. And your phone is still there, right? And the phone number plays that critical piece. So this is where we see not only you identify through the phone number, but you engage also through the phone numbers. So this is where both are so intimate and so important to ensure that you have a smooth experience in the metaverse. And at this end, the phone numbers is something that, if you look worldwide, is kind of pretty ubiquitous, right? Market penetration rates are pretty high in a lot of different countries. When I'm talking about the mobile phone numbers, if you look in many emerging countries where they don't have necessarily a good infrastructure when it comes to landline, the mobile phone is there with pretty decent infrastructure when it comes to 3G, 4G, even 5Gs. And this is really important because this is the phone number that gives you access to really a lot of critical services. And again, here, we're going to take on the Western Hemisphere here, you want in the US, there was tax season. You can identify through your phone numbers, through a couple of your SSN, and you get access to actually, you can fill in your taxes. A lot of things happening digitally. But in some other countries, right, if you're looking in emerging countries, this is where you're going to need your phone number to get access to healthcare, like telehealth. That comes critical service. School, education. Education, we have seen on this that with the COVID, for example, you see a massive usage of different way of identify yourself and the students and or kids just to get access to online classes. So that's also so education, healthcare. These, and then the last one, banking. These are gonna happen through your mobile phone. And I wish I get mine next to me, but exactly, this is where it's gonna happen, right? It's the mobile phone is an essential piece, and the phone number is what allow us to engage and identify ourselves.
Wow, it's such a great reminder of how important it is for identity and so many other purposes. Well, it's been really great chatting. How much of your time do you spend on futurist topics like the metaverse and the day-to-day practical solutions that you deliver to clients around the world? How do you balance that focus?
I wish I could spend 100% of my time on Twitter topics like that, but that are actually coming even faster than we think, right? Usually, I would say we our vision is really to, as I said, to get the online place a safe, to make the online world a safer place. So for me, it's a day-to-day fight we have with the product team, with our customers, or we advise them. And so that's a big share of our time. But it's also discussing with our customers to understand their need for tomorrow. And so at the end of the day, I would say that securing the online place is a big bunch of our time, but also understanding the challenge of tomorrow is one of our other duty, as where we are placed today as a critical piece of identity and risk management in the online world. So it's well balanced. It's part of a thought process and a good alchemy there.
Yeah, I love it. Balance is key. Well, thanks so much for joining and just chatting around your thoughts on the metaverse and more. And maybe next time we'll do this in the metaverse and Horizons or something on Oculus. So we will see each other again. But thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And any comments are welcome on the posts and tweet.
Thanks a lot, Evan. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.
You too.